A global epidemic. The reality of child labor. Child labor is a cruel reality that affects millions of children worldwide. It robs them of their childhood, their education, and their future. The International Labour Organization, or ILO, estimates that 160 million children are engaged in child labor, with almost half of them, 79 million, in hazardous work. These children work in various sectors, including agriculture, mining, construction, and domestic service. They often work long hours in dangerous conditions for little or no pay. Poverty is a major driver of child labor, forcing families to send their children to work to survive. Child labor is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences. It perpetuates poverty, undermines education, and violates children's fundamental rights. It is a global problem that requires a global response. Stolen childhoods. Impact on health and education. Child labor has devastating effects on children's physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Children forced to work are deprived of essential nutrients, healthcare, and rest. They are highly susceptible to injuries, illnesses, and long-term health problems. Many suffer from malnutrition, respiratory problems, and musculoskeletal disorders. The psychological impact of child labor is equally severe. Children may experience anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Child labor also robs children of their right to education. Children engaged in work often miss school or drop out entirely. This lack of education perpetuates the cycle of poverty and limits their future opportunities. Faces of exploitation, stories from the ground. The statistics on child labor are alarming, but behind these numbers are real children with real stories.
Take the story of Rajesh from India. Rajesh, a 10-year-old boy, worked in a brick kiln for over 12 hours a day. He carried heavy loads of bricks on his head, often in scorching heat. Rajesh had no time for school or play. He longed to be free from this life of toil and hardship.
Then there's Fatima, a 12-year-old girl from Bangladesh. Fatima worked in a garment factory, stitching clothes for hours on end. She was paid a pittance for her labor and often went hungry. Fatima dreamed of going to school and becoming a teacher.
Rajesh and Fatima's stories are not unique. They represent the plight of millions of children trapped in child labor. The fight against exploitation laws and their effectiveness. Many countries have laws that prohibit child labor and set minimum age requirements for employment. The International Labour Organization, or ILO, has also adopted conventions to combat child labor. However, these laws are often poorly enforced, and loopholes exist. Poverty, lack of awareness, and corruption hinder the effective implementation of child labor laws. In many cases, employers exploit legal loopholes by employing children in informal sectors or home-based work, where monitoring is difficult. Furthermore, the penalties for violating child labor laws are often too lenient to deter employers. The effectiveness of laws against child labor depends on strong enforcement mechanisms, access to justice for victims, and a comprehensive approach that addresses the root causes of the problem. Hope for the future. Organizations combating child labor. Despite the challenges, many organizations are working tirelessly to combat child labor worldwide. These organizations focus on rescuing and rehabilitating child laborers, providing education and vocational training, and advocating for stronger laws and policies. They work with governments, businesses, and communities to create a protective environment for children. For instance, the ILO's International Programme on the Elimination of Child Labor, or IPEC, supports over 100 countries in their efforts to combat child labor. Other organizations like Save the Children, World Vision, and Child Fund International are working to protect children from exploitation and provide them with a brighter future. These organizations play a critical role in raising awareness, providing direct assistance, and promoting systemic change. Our collective responsibility, a call to action. Child labor is a complex issue, but it is not insurmountable. We can all play a role in ending this injustice. As consumers, we can make informed choices by supporting companies committed to ethical labor practices.
We can support organizations working to combat child labor through donations or volunteering our time. As global citizens, we can raise our voices against child labor and advocate for stronger laws and policies. Education is key to breaking the cycle of poverty and child labor.
We must ensure that all children have access to quality education. By working together, we can create a world where all children are free to learn, play, and reach their full potential. Let us join hands to end child labor and build a brighter future for all children.